Previously on Chosen Ones, Theo and Brandy do research in the library as Shui practices keeping his balance with Riddle. Meanwhile, Avayath goes to the church to train with Peter, going into the confession booth yet again and encountering himself. As he chats with the other Avayath, the insidious nature of their conversation has the hero questioning who he actually is talking to. He calls them out, and they quickly leave after being discovered to be a fake. Avayath exits the booth, but before he can tell Peter what happened, Aelia intrudes on their training. She asks Avayath a strange question before she leaves. What if the Abigram let him win? Peter tells him to ignore her remarks, and they leave the church. Theo approaches Arthur, who excitedly talks to him about the different times and timelines he's experienced, informing him that there is something about this particular point in history that continues to draw him back. Our four Sparks meet back up in the library, before Estelle asks Brandy if he'd like to train with her soon. After considering for a moment, he accepts and follows her up to her study.
Break me down, we keep fracturing, so you'll forget your place and never find grace. Fly me away before the clouds are paid, so we will lose our wings within the storm. Breathe me, take what's left of me. I lose my mind to fate, I cannot disgrace. Heart beating hard, erase your belief. I will destroy what's left and run away. Get with the tune, harmony, the shadow in this sea. Come to the page, the curtains rising soon.
As she starts to make her way in, you can see this room looks like it's just been showered with water, and she frowns. She's like, who left the damn window open? As she goes over to close it.
That's not a joke. That window was open, bruh.
Yeah, fair. That's fine.
And she just very quickly closes it and sighs and looks around the room at all like the wet papers and books and that and all that kind of stuff, and just starts to pick some of them up and put them away. And then she looks up towards you a little bit as she goes over towards one of the shelves and takes a book down, and then goes over to the desk, kind of clears it off, trying to wipe some of the water away, and pulls out an extra chair. And she's like, go ahead and sit, and let's have a conversation.
That window was open. Why?
Don't know.
You want to cast maybe a dispel magic or something like that in the area?
If it makes you feel better, sure.
It would.
You see her kind of like wave her hand a little bit. Doesn't seem like anything went off. I would note, this is the room that Shui and Arthur went through.
Yeah, they never closed it, huh? Fucking dumbasses. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, he wouldn't know that regardless, so.
You would have seen Shui trying to go up through this window. Yeah, but he doesn't
know specifically to this window.
Yeah.
Or this, it's from the outside, so yeah. Yeah, he just nods. He's already paranoid, so that makes sense for him to ask anyway. But he nods and sits down.
She kind of takes a very deep breath at that, and looks towards you and is just like, how are you feeling currently about your stay here?
Bad about everything.
I figured. Do you want to leave?
Yeah.
Would you consider making a compromise with me?
That depends on what the compromise is.
Do you want to go out and see the world, Brandy?
Maybe.
I would like to offer you a way to continue to do that while still checking in with me.
And why do you want me to check in with you?
Because there are people who want you.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk with you about that, actually. That woman that shares your last name.
You see her tense at that.
This Darkborn queen, yeah?
Yes, that is Aelia.
Yeah. And you must understand that you being her family raises some red flags for me.
I understand that.
Did you know what she did to me when you saw me in Theo's barn?
You see her kind of bite her lip at that.
I had an idea, unfortunately.
So you did know.
I knew after, not during. And I did not find out willingly.
But you still thought it was a good idea to bring me here where you know she could find me again.
I think she would find you regardless.
Yeah, but this made it a hell of a lot easier for her. I could have gone a year, maybe even a few months, if I'm lucky. But now that choice was made for me.
I apologize if you feel like you are trapped here. That was not the intention.
It's fine. I've been trapped my whole life.
There are people besides just Ilya that I am concerned about. I don't think you would have made it as far in the world as you think.
Yeah, but the point is, I don't have the option to find that out now.
You see her kind of bite her lip again, and she pushes the book forward that she had taken off one of the shelves, and it's just like,
you said you don't know how to write, but you can read, yes?
Yeah.
the cover of this book says The Pale Sickness.
The hell's this?
Something that's not in public records anymore. At least not to this extent.
We'll read through.
So reading through this, it details the quote-unquote symptoms of this disease that seemed to take place. The book appears to be from the year 128. It talks about tieflings that appeared out of nowhere, apparently, that were pale-skinned, appeared to, as the book describes, be incredibly sick with something akin to rabies. It talks about it being a very progressive nature, the sickness having a very progressive nature and seeming to spread rapidly. It talks about the potential for the disease to spread to others. It encourages isolation, essentially, for these tieflings.
Yeah. That's funny.
He closes the book and pushes it away.
And she frowns still and takes it back, and she's like,
There are people who used to read these sorts of things and know about them still in the world.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I have done my best to get rid of these texts. They are not made available to the public. There are very few historical texts about them because they tend to have a very biased approach to the subject.
Well, if I'm the only one left, as everyone's been saying, then maybe it's for the best. If somebody finds me who knows about it, it ain't the end of the world.
She pauses at that and looks at you, and you can see there's just like very obvious kind of like regret on her face. And she's just like,
When I first saw you, I didn't know what to think. Apogrim tieflings went extinct so long ago. With the current state of Apogrim, the likelihood of any more forming is very slim. Not impossible, but slim for sure, and both the Prime Capital and Black Peak made it very clear what would happen if anyone made a deal with an Archfiend ever again. I don't think you're evil, Brandy. You seem to think so, though.
No, I don't know what to tell you. I am absolutely a monster, Miss Estelmist.
I don't think you were given a fair chance. You can't control who your family is, and you certainly can't control what they do.
That doesn't excuse anything that I've done. I can't hide behind that kind of excuse. I gotta live with that. I've made that choice. Still, I hurt people, and I chose to continue to do so.
I think you're looking at this the wrong way. This shouldn't be a punishment for you. I don't know the circumstances of your current predicament. I won't ask. It isn't my place to. I just want to be sure that you are given a fair chance. And there are a lot of people who likely wouldn't let you have that chance. And I don't think this is meant to be a situation where history just repeats itself.
Well, the way I'm looking at it now is I am lucky enough, or unlucky enough, depending on who you ask, to be sitting here across from you right now. And if I can do something good with this second chance that I've been graciously given, then I'm gonna try. But if somebody were to rightfully put me back in the grave, then I don't see that that's the wrong thing either. I've already snapped for a second, a split second, when I was fighting that jabber. And I don't want to have that chance again. I don't want to hurt people anymore.
Do you think that's entirely your fault, though? There are plenty of people who do bad things because they are pushed in a way where they have to.
I don't take the blame for the way I was raised, but I certainly take the blame for the things I chose to do after.
She hesitates for a moment, seeming to think for a while.
Did you ever hear of me?
A few times. No info, just your name. You don't want another context.
I wish there was more that I could have done, given the circumstances.
I don't blame you for not, I suppose, but I'd just say I wish you got involved.
I did.
Raise an eyebrow.
Is that right?
Eventually, yes, when other pressing things came to light.
What other things?
There were a lot of things going on at that point. I don't know how much you are aware of it, but at that point in time, the elemental gods were being born, and they were causing mass destruction, and they were my primary focus near the end of my time. As a chosen one, I decided to look forward, to see who would come after me. And I saw you.
He looks, shocked at that.
I'm not. That doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right, but it was the next. You weren't a chosen one, Brandy.
Yeah, I'm well aware.
I have regretted that choice for a long time. I have learned that meddling with the future creates things that are far worse.
Is that Vermona you, mentioned?
Yes, when you...
And she came from where again?
Wick.
Well, I suppose that might not have been entirely your fault then.
I meddled so much with the future that eventually I think it turned into something that I couldn't control.
Well, no one can really, know how the future's gonna shake out. I can tell you I certainly didn't expect this, of all things.
I did not expect to see you in that barn either.
Yeah, I'm glad you got involved then. Even if it was a little late. It's better late than never.
Would have been better if I had known a lot sooner.
Well, again, there are lots of coulda, shoulda, wouldas involved. Had I known what I know now, or had I been in the right mindset, probably wouldn't have turned out as bad as it did.
I don't know what it means that you're here now. It's been... gosh. Hundreds of years at this point.
Not sure either, to be honest. As far as I've been told, all I have to go on is that my gracious patron has told me to do better, and then I'm still in Act 1, as he put it.
Sounds like you have a very theatrical patron.
Yeah, you can say so.
I did not bring you to this facility to trap you or to force you to be someone that you don't want to be. But there is a high possibility, considering how things were supposed to go, that you may be a chosen one day. And I would rather you be a chosen one. Being a chosen one is not about being better than the rest of the world. It's about being better for the rest of the world. And I want to make sure you are prepared for that. Because if you throw it away and you try and walk into places where you know you're just going to get killed, the person who comes after you might make things a hell of a lot worse.
Well, I think if we get to that bridge, then it can be crossed when we get to it. I don't think I'm gonna get that kind of chance again.
You never know. Didn't think I'd ever see you again.
I suppose.
I just hope that you consider what I've said, at least. If you decide that you do not want to stay in this compound, you don't want to stay in this facility at all, I do not especially want that history to repeat itself. So, if you decide that leaving is the best choice for you, you can. If not, I would like to still train you.
That's, good to know. I will have to put some thought into it, because I'm still trying to process everything. Even if I've had a few months, it's all a lot.
The world has changed a lot.
Yeah, I've noticed.
She kind of starts to get up, picking that book up again. These libraries are free to you, if you would like to use them. The studies upstairs hold a lot more private information. Same rules as the books below. You're not allowed to take them.
Right.
There's a lot of helpful guides on how to learn how to write, though, if you're interested.
I've been picking a couple things up. Theo's helped me learn, at least a little bit.
Are you going to tell him?
That's a hard question. I don't know. I want to, because I don't feel like it's right to hide who I am from him.
You need to be very careful with Theo.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware. I don't want it. It's selfish, but I don't want Theo to realize how terrible a choice he's made in being with me, but I do feel like it's his right to understand what he's gotten into. I'm looking for the right time. I want to be able to prove, not only to him, but to myself, that I can put action to the words I'm speaking.
She gives a nod to that. This is all I wanted to talk to you about today. I know it was a lot.
It's fair. I appreciate it.
The next time we train, I think it'd be a good idea for us to try and get in contact with that patron of yours.
I'd certainly be interested. I definitely got a few questions for him.
I know a thing or two about dealing with tricky patrons.
Well, I look forward to it then.
And she replaces the book in the shelf.
You're dismissed.
Yeah, he starts to walk out, and as he goes to open the door, he stops midway through, and looks back.
I know we're not. I understand that there's a lot of tricky business going on here at the facility. And, well, I might not understand it all the reasons for the secrets and whatnot. I do appreciate what y'all are doing. It seems like you're trying your best. And I do appreciate that. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Estel.
I'm sure it doesn't seem like it, but I understand a bit of where you're coming from.
He nods, and he will head out.
You see Estel make her way out and cross over towards where her study is.
Mm-hmm.
Knock on door. Hesitate. Eventually goes in.
So Brandy returns.
Yeah.
Theo immediately perks up and is like, Brandy, how did it go?
I mean, it went fine.
Fine. Actually, can I say or ask or just come over here with me for a second?
Oh, all right.
Yeah, he'll pull Brandy away from the other two because he wants to say the secret, but he doesn't, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Just to Brandy for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'll pull him to a different area in the library, I guess. He looks around. Is around?
Oh, no.
Okay, cool. Great. He's like, okay, so really, was the training okay? She was good to you?
Yeah, she wasn't bad to me. It eased some of the tensions I'd felt. Certainly. We just talked about some things.
Well, that's good. Very relieving. Because, well, the reason I pulled you over here was, she said something like, what you say in the library will stay in the library, and we're in the library, so I mean, it's not leaving the library, so basically, she said that she wanted to train me too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Kind of breaking the rules then.
Yeah, the thing was, she said that, well, I mean, I'm sure it was for good reason that most of the other mentors wanted to train me, but Arthur basically Arthur pulled something and he wanted to train me, pretty much.
I see. See, I told you.
Well...
He, pushes Theo playfully.
I told you you were special.
No, I just... she still wants to train me, which I was happy about at first because I was like, oh, I wanted her to train me anyway. But then with you were worried, and so I wanted to make sure her training you was good before I
You don't
accepted
have to
her further.
explain yourself anymore, Theo. You're all right.
I just.
Hey. Do what you want to do.
Well, I wanted to check in with you.
Well, I appreciate that very much, darling.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, apparently it's supposed to be a secret, but I wanted to tell you because you're you, so I just wanted to tell you.
Well, I appreciate you for being honest with me and letting me know.
Yeah, that was part of my reasoning as well, where it's like, oh, I was so mad at everyone for not telling us the whole truth, and then I'm like, oh, I turn around and I accept Vessel's training and secretly and keeping a secret. So yeah, I wanted to tell you right away, but I had to tell you in the library so I wouldn't be breaking her rule.
Well, I appreciate it.
He will lean down and give Theo a kiss.
Oh, Theo will kiss back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gay. Gay as fuck.
Yeah, hella gay.
Anyway. Sorry. Are Avayath and Shui doing anything right now?
Avayath is just working out since he didn't get his physical training from Peter that was planned.
Shui is actually probably chatting with an NPC, Titus.
Okay, sure. What are you talking about with Titus?
College.
So, Shui, why are you interested in college?
Oh, I didn't know we were actually on the BTS. Okay. Well, I heard a lot of good things about college, that you can learn a lot and get a lot of experience, and I think that he kind of gets a little sheepish. To be honest, I don't know a whole lot. Like everyone could tell. But, no. He's like, I don't know a whole lot, and I get lost in conversations kind of easily. So I've been thinking. I was just wondering what college was like.
He thinks for a bit on that, and then he's just like, college can be good for some people if they are interested in learning things, and it can be hard too, though.
Do they have gulp? Do they have quizzes in college?
Yeah, you see him kind of chuckle a bit at that, and he's like, yes, they have a lot of quizzes.
He looks mortified.
It's a lot of tests, and depends on what you're studying, but it's usually, a lot of tests.
He's seen death. Shui is kind of like rubbing a hand through his hair, kind of like making a mess out of it, and he's like, oh.
I think you seem like someone who have a lot of friends, though, and that can help when things are hard.
He squints at Titus, and then his eyes widen very suddenly. He's like, "You want me to cheat?" He shouts.
No, that's not what I just meant, like, a support group in general is good for self-esteem, and that's all I meant. No, don't cheat, that's bad.
She's like, oh, that's what you meant. Thought you were a cheater.
Why did your mind go straight to cheating?
I don't know how to respond to that. He's like, well, some of the kids I grew up with cheated a lot too. So, I don't know, maybe that's probably why. But at least you're not a cheater, right, Titus?
No, I wouldn't consider myself one, but, it depends on who you ask.
So, do you, when did you meet Theo?
Oh, technically here.
Huh?
We went to school together, but I just saw him sometimes. I heard his name in the nurse's ward a lot, and saw him in school sometimes in the hallways. We had a couple classes together, but we didn't talk.
Shui says, as you filing this So when you go to college, you choose like a what do you call it? A major. A major.
Yeah. It wasn't anything like in particular. I did a lot of general studies.
He takes a deep breath.
Communications.
She's like, yeah, Titus, you're good at talking to people.
No, that's what I majored in.
What for? What'd you want to be?
I wanted to.
Communicate. No. Okay.
She's like trying to think, and he's like, I wanted to be someone who could like talk and help people, I guess, in that way. Not like therapy talk or something like that. Just in general, to be able to talk to people and do job stuff.
He seems like he's like losing track of his words.
She's like kicking back in his chair. He's like, huh? So, do you still want to become someone like that, even with all of this? He says, as he's like gesturing like around, obviously at like the program itself and the fact that he's like a spark. And,
I didn't get much use out of my major. It was kind of just more like something that I did to for my own sake, I guess. I just needed to get away from home, and it was a good excuse to do so. I didn't have a strong preference.
Where are you from?
The water.
The water. He kind of, like, he was laughing for a bit, and then he kind of quiets down, and he's like, this is kind of a weird question, but do you know who Mizuni is?
You see him flinch immediately.
He flinches too.
A sort of, yes, I do.
Oh, I see. He's just like, I don't like her.
Oh.
I like insulted his god, I bet. She tricked me.
She is the goddess of trickery, so.
Yeah. He's like, well, I wish I knew that before. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for talking to me. Oh, we should, have a contest to see who can hold their breath the longest.
You would lose.
Is that a challenge?
No, it's a statement.
Shui, laughs as if Titus is joking.
He's like, no, I can breathe underwater.
He didn't hear that. She's already gone. He's waving.
I love that boy. He's my favorite blue boy. They're both blue, but I love them both.
Okay, yeah. So you wander off after that. And as we continue on throughout the day, eventually it starts to get kind of dark out, starting to clearly go into the evening. And Estel wanders back in and looks towards everyone. It's just like, all right, we're going to settle down then for the evening. And she gestures, or not gestures, but she nods her head towards Libris, and she's like, you and Shui have an hour to do your training before curfew hits, but I would like everyone else to stay inside at this point.
Theo's sweating because he mostly just fucked around all day.
Libris kind of jumps up, and she's like, okay, come on, Shui.
Yes! Shui also jumps up.
They scamper.
Yeah, he's like, see you guys.
Bye! She like waves to all the other mentors.
Be careful.
They're like the same fucking people.
Good luck.
Goodbye.
Shout if you need anything. Don't think we'll be... Never mind, that was stupid. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed.
Theo laughs. He's like, it's okay, Brandy.
Wait, what did he say?
He said, shout if you need anything. Oh, no, never mind. That was stupid. I'm sorry. Because they're going to be in the keep.
Oh, yeah.
So, he was like, I'm embarrassed.
Oh, Theo pats Brandy's arm after he's like laughing a bit.
That's all I wanted out of that scene.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Those two go and scamper off. You actually see Wynn come forward and talk to Estel for a moment, and she seems to be thinking something over that he said before she kind of like gives a little nod, and he walks off and goes over to you, Avayath, and is just like, hey, you busy?
No, not really. Just doing my daily exercise.
Oh, you've been doing that for a while.
Yes, I'm trying to do 1,000 pull-ups.
He just kind of nods a bit at that and is just like, the benefactor wanted to talk with you if you have a bit.
Oh, no. Say no.
The benefactor?
Say no.
Yeah, Flynn.
Sure.
No, you stupid motherfucker.
Avayath is stupid and he's not afraid of anything.
You're gonna get merged with him.
He goes.
He kind of gives you a smile and he starts to like, he's like, I'll be right outside. He's also right outside.
Very well then.
Yep, come on, let's go. And he starts to walk towards the front. Yeah, he leads you outside and you see that same man that you saw from the day before, Flynn Larkspur, currently standing still with that like his like scrolls and things, but this time he's got some kind of like umbrella contraption out that he's holding so he doesn't get wet. And he's just standing right outside the door. And he looks to you and smiles. And he's just like, Avayath, great to see you. I'm glad you agreed to meet with me.
Great to see you as well. What did you want to meet about?
Yeah, Win's just like, I'll just be right inside. Shout if you need me. I'm looking through the window.
Sure thing, he says, already shouting.
He closes the door and you hear some just like very big like, and then like see him like looking through the window and wave.
Avayath waves back.
Flynn looks to you and he's just like, oh, I just wanted to have a general conversation, I guess. You've heard of the Prime Capital, yes?
Yes, I have.
Wonderful. So you already have heard of the King, then, I assume?
Heard of the King, haven't heard much about them.
Well, he's currently recruiting right now for specifically Royal Guards, and he has heard of your extensive resume and was interested in having you join.
Really? That's an honor. A Royal Guard. Well, I have training to do here first.
Oh, of course. We 100% back this program and assume you'll be here for a few weeks or a few months or however long they plan to keep you, but I've looked over everything about you. I heard of the prophecy. That's quite interesting. And I think there's a lot to you.
Would the Royal Guard entail that I stay at the castle at all times to protect the King?
No, the King leaves the Prime Capital sometimes. You would specifically be more so on travel missions, I suppose.
Travel missions?
You'd still have the chance to see the world.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask if I could, still do adventuring. I don't like to stay in one place. I do want to go out and save people.
Of course, while the King is at home in the kingdom, you are free to go out and do your own things. We would just call you back for travel.
I see. I'll certainly look into it. I'm honored by this offer.
We actually have a friend of yours at the capital right now.
His eyes widen at that. Really?
Yes, a Miss Rue Blackburn.
Rue? Oh, well, I'll be sure to come by then, at least to meet with her, but I would like to speak to the King as well.
Oh, of course. She was recruited for something similar. She was out on her own travels for some kind of godly mission, it seemed like, and her mission led her to us.
Huh. Well, what do you know? It seems like fate is bringing us back together.
It seems like it would be so. But yes, I think she mentioned to us you had talked about doing a meeting point in 6 months, and she's going to be quite busy with us. Would you mind changing the meeting point to the capital?
I wouldn't mind at all, as long as she knows.
Perfect. We'll do that then.
All right, thank you.
Of course. I'm glad that you're so on board. I was worried I'd have to try and sweeten the pot, but it's good to know that you don't need that kind of, assurance.
Oh no, I'm not interested in money or anything like that. I just wish to do my part in making the world a better place.
Of course. I do have one of these, though, just as a sort of standard offering, if you would but be so kind to take it. And he pulls out a black sapphire.
Black sapphire? I guess he'll just ask, what is this?
Oh, they're all the rage right now, and he kind of gestures towards himself, and you see he's got quite a few of these kind of just scattered about on his design. And he's just like, they were found a couple years ago in the Black Forest, and they are very popular in all the countries.
The Black Forest?
Yes, they were discovered there, and there's been a lot of mining and those kinds of things.
Do you know what they come from?
Just the mines, just from the soil, just as any other gem.
Just in the mines. I guess he's gonna insight, even though I think he's telling the truth.
Sure.
Avayath has a bad connection with that forest, so he doesn't like the idea. 9.
Seems to be telling the truth.
I think I'll pass on the offer, actually. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. Sometimes these flashy things aren't, great,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's fine. Not for everyone. It's just, they're hard to get a hold of, so...
I see. Well, as I said, I'm not in it for material possessions.
Of course. He puts it back in his pocket. Unless you want it to give to someone else.
No, I think I'm fine.
Okay. Well, we will certainly send for you when we're ready to further recruitment. And we'll be seeing you in the coming months. I'm sure I'll be stopping by.
Great. I'd be happy to have a talk with the king about it.
He gives you a nod and smiles.
Is that all? I was in the middle of my workout routine. Sorry if I'm being rude.
Yes, that was all. No, you're perfectly fine. I wanted a chance to try and talk to all the Sparks here, but I don't know if I'm going to have the chance before I'm called away with all this, stuff going on. The rain, and also, well, that woman from Black Peak is here, and that's all.
Yes, tensions are very high. I'm not sure if everyone is in the mood to talk.
I was under the assumption that all ties have been cut with Black Peak. That was part of our agreement with me being a benefactor, so it's a little concerning, but I'm sure Estel will fix things, and we will be able to go back to the original agreement.
I think there's a misconception that you're on her side, so...
That I'm on whose side?
Well, you came in here with her, and...
He kind of shakes his head and, openly just, scoffs at that, and it's just no, the Prime Capital and Black Peak would never in a million years work with each other. We're lucky we're not at each other's throats. You've heard of the Prime War, haven't you?
Oh, I probably hasn't. I guess I'll do a history check.
Yeah, you can.
16, better than thought.
Let me double check, because this might have actually happened when you were still alive. The Prime War happened very, very recently, actually. It happened the year 332.
Oh. Yeah, I guess Avayath is that was a pretty recent war, that's all I know about it.
Yes.
But I guess tensions are still high then.
Oh, definitely. It's just kind of a truce more than an ending.
I see. I've been telling everyone else this, but she's not welcome here, and if it comes down to it, I won't be afraid to fight back against her.
And that is why we want you as a guard.
I see.
Well, it's been good talking with you, Mr. Abaddon. I will be returning to my cabin, I think.
Good talking with you, too.
Gives you a little nod, a lot of rain spilling off that umbrella as he does so. And then starts to walk and make his way back towards the cabins.
Yep, Avayath, I guess, salutes him and walks back into the library.
Bye-bye. Okay. We switch back to Shui and Libris. So you and Libris, Libris kind of skips her way to the pond and is waiting outside currently as you also approach with her, and she looks over at you and is just like, well, I forgot to mention, I thought you might be excited. Peter wanted to come to Jackrabbit's Keep with us this evening, so we're going to wait just a few more moments for him and when to come.
She's right. She is excited. He's like, really? Really? Master Peter's coming?
Yes, so we're going to wait here. Let's see. Well, time passes a little differently in the keep, so we can probably give it about 15 minutes. He's a little slow.
She's kind of vibrating. He wonders what kind of animal Peter would be. He's like, oh, I bet Master Peter's a wolf, isn't he?
She chuckles a little bit at that, and she's like, no, nothing quite that large.
He ponders.
Do you want me to tell you, or do you want it to be a secret?
Secret, he says.
Then we'll wait for him to come.
So, what are we going to be doing once we get there?
Well, I wanted to give you a little bit of just a general overview of the area and the places that you can go and who you can talk to and that kind of stuff. Did you have anything in particular that you wanted to learn from training with me?
He thinks for a bit. Well, I think there's a whole lot you could teach me. I want to learn more about the elven swords. And their history, and you seem to know a lot about that. And also, I'd like to know more about the gods and goddesses of this world, too.
Well, that is an excellent thing to bring up for the keep, because that is quite literally full of them, so. Is there someone in particular you were looking to meet?
He says. Winona.
You see her kind of frown at that, and she's like, she doesn't visit the keep.
Is it because she's trapped in the moon?
Yeah, I assume so. Probably can't get out.
Huh. I can't remember if Avayath told Shui, but does he know why she's in the moon?
I don't remember either. We can say just from general conversations you've had with Avayath over the weeks and stuff, he's mentioned it. Okay.
That she was like put there for her protection and whatnot.
Yeah, because her mothers were fighting over her.
Do you think her mothers are still gonna fight over her?
Don't know. She kind of looks like she's thinking for a while. She's like, well, Dara is very, very protective. And Solari, I don't know where she is right now. I haven't seen her in the keep in a long time. But I don't think Dara would let her in anyway.
I saw her.
Solari?
I think so. It was when I was in the moon.
In the what?
In the moon, he says.
Ha! You're funny.
He's like, no, really. I had a dream and I was in the moon with Winona. And we saw this big person down below with really big eyes. And it looked like she was looking for something. Probably Winona, huh?
Ah. Interesting dream.
And then I saw the whole world. And he's like spreading his arms apart like to demonstrate how big the world is. And he's like, did you know there's more than one land?
You see her kind of get like a very big smile on her face, and she's like, I did.
You did?
I've seen the world too. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, he says. Do you think there are other people on those other lands?
Probably. It's hard to imagine that there's only people on one little continent.
Continent. He says, is that what this is? Where we are?
Yes, Absalom is the world and Varun is the continent that we are on.
I'd like to meet those people on those other continents.
She gives like a tiny nod at that. She's like, it would be interesting, wouldn't it? Wonder if they have access to the keep.
Huh.
There's not a lot of mortals who find their way in there, so maybe, but I don't know. Don't really go around asking strangers a lot of questions.
Have you been back to the keep since your final?
Oh yes, I try to go whenever possible. I love being there.
Was that black goat still there?
There haven't been any sightings of it as far as I know, no.
Huh.
Maybe he got the message that he's not welcome there.
I hope so. He was really, really rude.
Didn't meet him, but Nather did not seem to be a fan.
Me neither.
Well, you said you wanted to learn more about your sword, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you've been struggling to use it, correct?
He looks at his sword. Still learning, yeah.
She seems to be thinking for a moment. She's just like, well, usually when you're struggling, it's good to get in touch with the being that favored you to kind of like get over those issues and stuff. But based on your trainings, it sounds like
the blade you're using is a little more special in that sense.
Well, it's special to me.
You have a goddess who favored you, but a different goddess who made it. So that is interesting. It gives off two different kinds of energies. One is dark and one is light.
He says as he's like turning the sword kind of over in his hands. What does that mean? Having dark and light energy.
To use it properly, you have to understand both. There is a balance.
Is that like a warlock thing?
She shrugs. She's like,
Master Arthur said something about celestial energy or something.
So? Oh, you said you had dreams with Winona. That makes sense.
Huh. But the last time I had a dream, she looked different than the first time I saw her.
They say she changes with the cycles of the moon.
What kind of moon was it a couple of days ago then?
The full moon.
What was the moon the first time? Was that a full moon too?
That was the full moon. It was an orange moon.
Oh. Well, she's just kind of thinking, is there a way to dream on purpose? He says as he's having difficulty phrasing the question. Or go into the moon willingly.
Go into the moon. She just seems to think that's so funny. And she's just like, I don't know. Never tried.
Oh, Master Libris.
Yes.
You never told me, but what's your spark?
She gives you kind of a small smile at that, and she's like, did Arthur put you up to this?
Arthur? Master Arthur? No, but I asked him, and he said he didn't know either.
She kind of chuckles a bit at that, and she's like, everyone likes to play the little guessing game of what's Libris' spark.
He kind of laughs, and he's like, are you keeping it a secret?
Not really, no.
He says, I want to guess.
Go for it.
He says as he's like kind of rattling his brain, and he's like, you can talk to animals.
She chuckles at that, and she's like, good try, but no, I can just do that anyway.
Okay. He's like, you can fly.
Not my spark, no, but I can do that too. Tell you what. When I summon Nather, I'll tell you what it is. Just listen. But it has to be a secret, okay? If I tell you.
Okay, he says, and he's nodding his head. And he's like, it's a promise.
Have to really promise me, though, okay?
Is it a dangerous secret?
She seems to think about that for a moment, and she's like, I'm not sure. I feel like I can trust you with it for some reason, though. Never told anyone before, besides Nather.
He smiles. Can't wait to see Nather again. I wonder how he's doing.
It's a great question. And she kind of looks around for a bit and is just like, Peter's still not here. We've waited 15 minutes.
I wonder why he's so late.
I don't think he's coming.
Oh. He's like, oh man.
This is the second time in a row he said he's coming and didn't show up.
Does he not like the keep?
Oh, no, he goes there just about as frequently as me.
Huh.
Wynn has a lot of long nights because of it, but I don't think he minds.
She just kind of looks at her.
And she smiles and she's like, well, I guess we'll go ahead and continue then. No point in waiting if he's just not going to show up.
Well, Shui kind of nods. Maybe next time, right?
Maybe next time. I do miss going with him.
I bet he was a dog.
Oh, Peter?
Was he a bear?
He'll come one of these times. You said you wanted it to be a secret.
He kind of laughs and he's like, yeah.
And she turns her head towards the sky and she's like, oh, you said you wanted to do it though.
I want to know what his perk is. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. She's just like, show me how to do it one more time. and then I'll get it the next time.
She smiles at that. She's like, of course. She turns her head towards the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. 20. Not a natural 20.
I don't have a spark.
That's what she says.
Okay.
And she turns back to you and smiles as you see a star kind of darting across the sky, very rapidly coming closer, before you see Nather suddenly appear in front of you, smiling. And you notice that as she was doing that, it seemed almost like despite this rain coming down, the clouds kind of like parted ways a bit and the moon shined through just enough for her to be able to pull this off. And Nather comes down in front, kind of like shaking himself a bit, trying to get the water off of his wings, and looking at you and looking at Libris, and he's just like,
well, you can't use that one anymore, can you?
And she chuckles.
She was jaw like dropped. Like, what? This don't make sense though. He kind of shakes his head to like snap out of his like stupor, and he's like, "Oh, Master Nather, hi!" And he like gives a bow.
He kind of gives you a tiny nod back.
Hello again, Shui.
And she says, "I'm gonna be the one to summon you next time, okay?"
Good luck.
Shui laughs.
Yeah, you see him and Libris kind of snickering, and she looks to you and she's like, "Well, come on, let's go to the keep."
Okay. How it work again?
As you ask that, you start to slowly float upwards.
No. He's like, "Wait, how do I do this?"
Yeah, you start to slowly float upwards, Peter Pan style. As you gently are kind of glided forward, and you see on the surface of this pond these silvery gates appear that open for you, and Nather quickly darts inside, and you follow close behind.
Shui's doing flips again.
Yeah, you quickly come out the other side and appear in the keep, and Libris is kind of like shaking herself, and you see again a white rabbit with blue and gold specks on it, and this blue butterfly in the center of its forehead. Shui, there you are.
Shui bounces. She's like, "Here I am."
All right. Well, let's see. What are we going to do today? And as she's kind of looking around, you see Nather turn and start to turn away from you both.
It's been busy around here lately. Lots of mortals need help accessing the keep, so I'll be heading off for the evening.
And you see Libris look up at him, kind of pounding, and she's like, "Who's calling you away?" And he looks back, and it's just like, you can see kind of like humor in his little dove eyes as he ruffles his feathers. It's just like,
"You know there are secrets even I can't tell, Miss Libris."
And she sighs and seems to accept that, and she's just like, "We'll just see ourselves out tonight then. Leave the gate open for us." And he quickly darts back through as the gate closes, but stays in place.
I'm here crying out for you, so you'll find me at last and wipe away our past. Even now, falling towards something beyond this new script. The show starts with us.